Right.
We're about to start this bad boy. You ready?
Yeah.
That ain't
You
gonna
know,
work.
we'll just play it by ear as we go, so that's fine.
All
I'll
right.
just share what I'm doing anyway. I mean, I made a list of those P's and things, just to give people a flavour of, what I think. Keep it simple, have a plan, have a strategy,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and put it into practice, that kind of thing.
All right. All right, buddy. Hit this
Okay.
record. I mean, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it good. Let's just say a prayer real quick before I start it. Dear
Yeah.
Lord, thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Lord.
much for just this opportunity for Chris to come on here, just to share with other people. Just ask and pray that you give us words to speak, to
Yes,
lift other
Lord.
people up, and anything we
Yes.
can do to inspire, to encourage people, Lord. Just ask and pray
Jesus.
that you help us just to be
In
able to
the
touch
name of
people's
power.
hearts. In Jesus' name we
Yes.
pray. Amen.
In Jesus' name.
All
Amen.
right. All right, let's do this,
Amen.
buddy.
All the best, brother. Bless you.
All right. Start webinar now. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Attendees, start
The
broadcast.
broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate you guys joining us. Today, we have a special guest with us. But before we get started, if everybody can hear me okay, just type 1 in the question box. There we go. Joe, Casey, Michael, I see you. James, thank you very much. Bill, I got you. All right, before we start, guys, I hope everybody had a great holiday, right? I hope everybody was able to just soak in the moments that matter, because that's what it's all about, right? It's about just being able to appreciate the things that we do have, whatever they may be. It's the little things that will love you back. So from the bottom of my heart, I hope all you guys had a great holiday, and this year's going to be great. I have no doubt. So before we get started, I just have this up here, right? And I just want to remind you guys, because this is something I try to remind myself every day, okay? You always hear me say, together we rise, okay? And the people that are involved in the Facebook group, they see where you're surrounded by like-minded people. The people you surround yourself with, it's who you become, right? It's who you get influenced by. And I just wanted to encourage you guys, like, if you're not involved in the Facebook group, get involved. Even if you check in one time a day for a minute, do it, because it will make a world of difference to gain knowledge and just be around people that are on the same path as you. So these bullet points I put are pivotal to success, not just in the business that we're doing, not just in trying to gain financial freedom to be able to help our own lives and the people around us, but they're just pivotal in, anything that you choose to do in life, anything that you choose to get ahead. You always hear us talking, other people that are successful talking about taking massive action daily, right? It's something that needs to be done. It's something that is necessary. We all have tons of excuses. I mean, you look around the world, you look at the people, that you work with or whatever. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has desires, but how many people achieve the things that really are burning in our heart? Very few. And the reason that is because one of the things, we don't take massive action daily. We do not look for opportunities to grow. I can testify from my own life. Many, many years, I would always want different changes in my life, a better life, but I would always procrastinate, always put it off. Now I look at today as there is no tomorrow, right? So I just want to encourage you guys with this new year starting off, take each day, just as our next thing, laying our bricks, and just do the best you can. Look for opportunity that whatever you choose to do, that you can make the most of your time. And I'm telling you, it will pay off big time. Um, just talked about laying our bricks, always remembering our why. For me, it's my faith, family, and freedom. I want to be able to work hard to gain my financial freedom, to be able to invest my life in the things that matter most to me, and that is my faith and my family and my loved ones. All right. The other thing we're going to touch on real quick is solutions to obstacles, right? We all have obstacles. I don't care who you are, what position you're in, what kind of job you have. Obstacles will always come. But I can tell you this, there's always solutions to them. Always. Um, a lot of people, obstacles come, they'll retreat, they'll just be in neutral. But if you just apply these principles, apply the things that people are doing in our group, such as our next guest, you will be able to overcome any obstacle that is put in your path. So I just want to encourage you guys, if I can do this, you can do this. And lastly, I wrote, surround yourself with like-minded people. It is huge. Who you surround yourself with is who you will become. If you want to become successful, put yourself in the position of successful people. Whatever it may be, these are things that have transformed my life. I've seen them transform other people's lives. And I just want to encourage you guys, especially with the new year coming up. I believe in each and every one of you. And I'm just excited. I'm excited about what the year has, coming up. So with that being said, I want to introduce our next guest. I've gotten to know him over the last month or so. This guy is an inspiration. He's a true member of just our group. He's involved. He inspires so many people. I mean, this guy inspires me, and everything I just talked about, the bullet points that I just said to success, to a transforming life, this guy lives by. So I'm going to introduce Chris Skyer to you. He is from Leeds, England, and it's presently like -2 degrees, right? Isn't that what you say, Chris?
Yep. Yeah, nice and warm.
Nice and warm. So, Chris, go ahead and just introduce yourself to the people. Tell them a little bit about, your life.
Yeah, okay, Sean. Thanks for having me on tonight. I really appreciate the opportunity. Hopefully to share and encourage anyone listening. Quick synopsis of my life. I was a pastor and a teacher, and 15 years ago, disability struck, and I had to retrain as a hearing aid audiologist from being a teacher, and that's when I became a hearing aid audiologist. That's a lovely picture Sean's got off my website. They're patient thank you cards. I believe in putting patients first. So the bottom line is I've been doing that for about 13 years now. I've run my own practice, my own clinic, and I basically did that to manage disability. In 2003, they actually handed me a wheelchair after I had an operation on my ankles and stuff, and they said, the hypermobility syndrome that you struggle with, we're just going to have to give you this, and why don't you retire? Why don't you, sit back and claim some benefits and stuff like this? But I'm not that kind of person, so I started my own business and made that fit me. So the bottom line is that's when I really started to look at internet stuff as well, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and trying different models and things to fit in with my lifestyle. So at the end of the day, part of what I'm doing, maybe talk about later, but at the moment I'm doing church work throughout the week, and also run my own practice as a hearing aid audiologist. And the retail arbitrage model really fits my lifestyle and my goals, because, Sean, I could share this now, but I had several episodes of ill health, which basically meant I was like grinding to a halt, and I decided that I needed to do something more active because I manage 24/7 pain. I do that by keeping busy and occupied, but I can't exercise. I can't. I used to swim an hour a day, but I can't even swim now. And so what was happening up until the beginning of this year, I was grinding to a halt, and I thought I've got to do something, otherwise inactivity is going to kill me. That's the bottom line. So I got involved with the Ekallzu course and Chris Winters, and I thought, right, I'm going to set myself a goal. I'm going to do the lead gen model, which I'm still doing as well, and I'm going to go to Barcelona, and that's what I did. But before then, my grandfather was ill, and he passed away September 21st. I went on the Ekallzu Barcelona trip on the 26th, 25th, 26th of that weekend. And what I want to say to you is that I actually did that by myself, because normally my wife travels with me. And so although I can't walk far, I actually was able to overcome that and get moving. And so really, I just started this October 20th because I came back from that event ready to do the AdWords and everything. And then this opportunity came out, and I basically said, right, this will get me active because I do like to shop around and look for bargains where I can buy things cheaply and sell them for a profit. And it's a simple business model, but it got me active and it got me moving. Yeah. And so, back into, some of the lifestyle stuff as well. So I would say, up to date, the last 2 years, I've lost 5 stone in weight, which is about 70 pounds. I've got moving, I've taken action, and I could explain some of these things later, Sean, if you want to, but that's an intro so people know where I'm at,
Yeah, well, Chris, I really appreciate it. And every time I hear your story, I mean, it just really takes hold of my heart. And I just want you guys to know, like I told you, I've gotten to know Chris over the last month. And me and him, we've talked, and this guy's real deal. Like when he speaks from his heart, I mean, he truly cares about each and every one of you. He's cared, about me. Like me and him, we've gone back and forth, and the guy is just, always looking to give back, right? So he was excited to come on here and just to be able to share his story. And Chris, when you talked about when you went to Barcelona, right? That was, I don't want to look that. That was a huge step for you to go there by yourself.
Oh, yeah. Because I actually, you have to understand the context, I suppose. But for the last 15 years, I haven't gone anywhere without my wife helping me with the wheelchair, because I can't walk the distance from check-in to plane, that kind of stuff. I get wheelchair assistance. And I've always traveled with my wife. But this time, we sort of said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I actually booked the flight, took care of the tickets, did everything. I did everything. Organised my luggage and everything, because normally my wife would do all that for me. Yeah. And so I said, well, I just told them, look, I'm going. I'm going. And I found a hotel near to where the event was, and it was within, doable distance. I still had to use a stick because I won't use a wheelchair. They gave me that in 2003, and I said, I'm not lying down. I'm not going in a wheelchair. And literally did that weekend by myself. That was a personal breakthrough.
Wow, yeah.
Because then I realized that no, I can push the boundaries, get out the comfort zone, and yeah, so that was really good to do that whole thing that weekend, and it was difficult because a few days earlier my grandfather had died, and he passed away, and so we're going back to the funeral. October the 5th was the funeral. We put the holiday back. Yeah. And as I said, after the funeral, taking part in the funeral, my situation, my personal circumstances were so bad that we actually booked a 10-day spa holiday with hydrotherapy facilities. And I just spent 10 days. My holiday was 10 days of rehabilitation and getting moving again. And then to come off the back of that and then get into the arbitrage course has been, dramatic. Well, I look at it as though it saved my life because it got me moving again. It got me active again. And I mean that. Yeah. I mean that. So as I say, I'm still making progress, but as I say, my faith's important to me, and God's helped me, and so that's where I'm at the moment, and put an extra special effort in with quarter 4.
That's right. That's right, and you've done amazing with that, you know, and I'm going to put up transition into that. And I just want to say, you know, Chris, I
Sure.
appreciate, man, you just sharing what you shared. And the reason I had him share that with you guys was because we all, you know, I talked about we all have obstacles, right? We all have things that come in our path.
Yeah, sure.
But Chris was willing to step outside his comfort zone. He was willing to face his fear. And a lot of times, our fears are shadows, right? Are
Yeah.
shadows that most of the time, you know, aren't reality. And I just know in my life, we're always going to have excuses. We're going to have fears. We're going to have obstacles, things that make us uncomfortable. You have to step out of your comfort zone to achieve any kind of
That's right.
greatness that you want in life. So I just wanted him to share that. And Chris really did put a lot in the Q4. And this right here is just, you know, a brief breakdown of, what was it, Chris? Was that 13,000? Was that in the month of December, or was that?
Yeah, month of December. Yeah, well, past 30 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd you know, I just covered that. I just went with the what Amazon gives you as a 7-day, as a past 30 days. You know, so I just wanted to post a figure to encourage people to say, look, you can build towards that. You can build towards Q4. It doesn't matter that you think of where you start, because I've only been doing this 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
And if I'd have been, just doing this 8 weeks, and by the time you think about setting up and getting the stuff and getting the inventory and sending that, that's another 2 weeks before it's received and put up there. So actually, you know, sales wise, you know, I look at it about 6 weeks of sales.
Yeah.
But you know, but now, you know, it's sort of, no matter where you start in the year with Amazon, you build towards Q4. You know, you take step by step and think, right, get myself in a position where I can maximize that Q4 traffic. You know.
And I just wanted to step in, Chris, too, like what you just said, to maximize Q4, but you just basically started, right? I mean, when this was posted, I think you were 7 weeks in.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So imagine if you have a year in, where you're going to be.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah. I'm planning that already. You know.
Yeah. As you can see right here, I put your latest post under the gate. Boom! Look at that. $1,500 in a day. I mean, it's just so much inspiration here. So much inspiration, Chris. And we just appreciate you sharing, because you inspire so many people, including myself. Why don't you start from like the beginning, when you got started into this, to just encourage the listeners on things that you did, the process that you learned, you know, just your experience, whatever's in your heart, man, share it.
Yeah. Well, you know, with anything that you do, I mean, you'll hear it a lot from Sean, and it's very much, you know, your why. You know, you've got to have a purpose. Because if you set out to do something and you don't know why you're doing it, and you haven't made that commitment to sort of say, right, I'm doing this because, and if you haven't got a commitment to why you're doing it, the first obstacle you're going to come across, or the first negative thought, or someone's comment, anything like that, you're going to sort of falter, and you're just going to be hit with doubt, and is this really going to work? And then the next shiny object comes along, and you think, oh, I'll try this, I'll try that, and you never fully commit yourself to something. So, you know, what I did was just to say, right, okay, what's my why? What's my purpose? Why am I doing this? And I mean, for me, yes, there's the money, yes, there's family and faith and friend, everything that you know, Sean talks about, but for me, I think I've got to get active to stay alive. If I don't move, you know, if I don't do it in spite of pain or whatever, if I haven't got something to get me going, then I'm just gonna sit inactive. And inactive people, you know, more people die from inactivity than cancer. Not a lot of people know that, but that's a fact. You know, and so I just wanted to get active again. So that's my big why. But the other things will follow as well. I know that. But what I did is I sat down and planned. I thought, right, how am I going to do this? And so I didn't just go randomly to places and go on a mad scanning spree. You know, I thought, right, I'm going to have a strategy here, and I'm going to say to myself, right, I'm going to do this myself. What's my budget? What's my starting budget? What resources do I have available? What shops are local to me? You know, where am I going to go? I'm not going to waste my time because my time's precious. It's busy. So I just have to just sort of look at it from this point of view. Okay, where am I going to go, as well as online, to find the products that I'm going to sell? You know, and that's another thing. What am I going to sell? Sean's given you lots of examples, if you follow his diary, of the things you can start with. But you've got to use a bit of common sense as well, because if you're going to pay for postage, you want to start with light things. You know, one reason, I mean, you know, I've shared that I do toys and books because toys are light. I don't have to carry heavy things, you know. You know, I'm not going to get boxes and boxes and boxes of books because I can't physically handle that. But, you know, a box of figurines that don't weigh anything. See, so it's having a strategy in place of knowing what you're doing, where you're going to go. I know it sounds simple, but you'll be surprised how many people who run a business don't even have a business plan.
Yep.
You know, and it's really important. I mean, from an example of, you know, productivity, when are you going to give the time to it and be committed to giving the time? Now, for me, I say, right, every morning I get up, I get washed, dressed, breakfast, and I'm, you know, after my quiet time and everything, I'm out the door every morning without fail. I'm either going to be scanning, I know places I'm going to go and scan, or I'm getting a shipment ready and out the door for UPS to take to Amazon.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether I feel like it or not, I've got a routine, you see. And you know, if you get into the habit, if you get into a routine, right, when you have those days, when you do get them where you don't feel like doing it, right, that's when you do it. You know, because you've got a routine and you'll feel good for it because you know you've just found another bargain, or you've found another product, or you've got some more inventory off to Amazon. You know, when I look back over just a 7-week period, I must have sent in about 30, 40, you know, lots of boxes and stuff. You know, lots of transactions and things. With what I was sending out and buying and sending out. So I think it's really, really important that you just take the time to just plan what you're doing. And then that way, you're not wasting time. You know what you're going for. It's very purposeful and time efficient. And the other thing I just wanted to say, another P, I've got all these different P's, you can tell I'm a preacher. But people, you know, involved is really important, right? So not only your purpose, your plan, products, places, productivity, but the people. You know, there's a proverb in the Bible, which basically Proverbs 13:20, and it goes like this. It says, "He who would be wise walks with the wise." Yeah. So if you walk with the wise, you become wise.
Yep.
And the quickest way to be successful at earning money online is to find a mentor and copy a mentor, copy success. And you've got a program laid out here with Sean and, you know, and Chris Winters. You know, you've got a mentor who's laying out their success. You know, just copy them, learn from them. And that's why, you know, I'm wholeheartedly agree with the first slide. You know, surround yourself with successful people who are doing what you want to do. And that will help you copy success. Keep it simple, have a plan, have a strategy. And then just, you know, the simple things. This is not a difficult business model. It's just about being consistent and just, you know, having that routine developed and make it a habit. And then you don't have to work at it. Just a quick example, Sean, is that last night my wife said, "Oh, I just need to nip into a certain supermarket and." You know, just for some shopping, and she said, "Are you coming too?" And I thought, "Oh, go on then." And I just happened to be in there and saw a clearance area. I thought, "Oh well, I might as well just scan." Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, found something. It cost me £5. Just had a quick look. Sells for 25 on Amazon. So, you know, came out with a whole about 8 of each type. So, Yeah, a few people looking and whatever, but I don't mind. I've got a bargain here.
Yeah,
So it's just then becomes more of a lifestyle thing as well because you're always
exactly.
watching and looking, and so they're sort of that's the way I've done it really is just keep, as I've said on the screenshot, keep taking consistent imperfect action. Has it all been perfect? No. Have I made mistakes? Yes, lots of them, but I don't let it stop me from my overall goal
That's right. Yeah.
of what I want to achieve in sales or what I want to achieve in time freedom, financial freedom, automating, outsourcing, wholesaling, private label. That's ultimately the where you're heading on your journey.
Yep.
But you've got to get started somewhere, and you've got to get in the routine of
Yeah.
making it happen.
And Chris, I mean,
So
everything that you just spoke about, I mean, was just, it's so true. I mean, you just basically laid down the foundation. And me and Chris were talking before we got on with you guys. Like, anyone can do this. Anyone can do
yeah,
this. Um,
yeah,
Chris just talked about structure, right? You need structure. I need structure. I have to have a plan day in and day out. And I look at each day as an opportunity to make the most of it, right? We all have 24
yeah,
hours in a day. What are you going to do with it? Chris just gave a perfect example. He went with his wife to a grocery store and there was a clearance
yeah,
section. And look what he came away with. That has happened to me so many times where I've gone places and I just looked for opportunity and it paid off, right?
yeah,
This
yeah,
this business plan that we have is it's anyone can do it, but it takes consistency and it does take hard work. You got to be disciplined. You got to be willing to do it day in and day out. You got to structure yourself up where you can make the most of each day,
yeah.
right?
And yeah,
Go
and,
ahead.
look, I'd encourage anyone if I can do this. Seriously, if I can do this, anyone can do it. You
Yeah.
know, even if you're limited physically, time, whatever, if you sat down and thought about it, you can do it. I mean, you can order stuff online, where it comes to you boxed. This was a real joy for me when it occurred to me that I could order stuff online. It would come to my house all boxed up.
That's right.
All I
All
do
boxed
is
up.
all I do is scan it, label it, and send it out and have UPS collect it. And I thought, wow, how easy is that?
Yeah.
I didn't need. All I needed was a tape and a printer, just to print the
Yep.
labels off, whatever. And you could just be doing that all day long if you wanted to. But I
Yeah.
like to get up and get out and meet people and
Yeah.
talk to outlet managers and negotiate discounts and get out there. Certain things you can't find online, but there's a lot of things online. And if you're
Yeah.
purchasing through cashback sites as well, I mean,
Exactly.
I've built up quite a quite a bit of money just on the cashback sites.
And what sites are
So,
you using, Chris? Or
right,
cashback sites?
yeah, cashback Quidco.com in the UK.
Okay.
Quidco is what I'm using, and also Top Cashback is another one.
Mhm.
I think they're the main ones that I use. Otherwise you get too many emails flying around as it is. But
Yeah.
they're the main ones I use, and they cover most of the main shops in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the beauty of this model is that it works well outside of the UK. Because if you've been in internet marketing or been on the internet looking to make money, online for a while, you realise that not everything that comes out of the US works well in the UK, and you always come across different anomalies and things. And I found that this model fits nicely within the UK.
Hmm.
And yes, sell into Europe. Yeah, from the UK, I've got European sales as well because it's Amazon, Europe, and obviously you've got a worldwide marketplace with Amazon. But I find in the UK it works well. So cashback sites, yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I use Profit Bandit, yeah, because the one you use doesn't work over here. So Profit Bandit, I found, does work. Yeah, that doesn't work over here. But as I say, Profit Bandit's excellent.
Yeah, and just for you guys that might be
That's
listening
really good.
that don't know what he's talking about with Profit Bandit. Profit Bandit is a scanning app that you can download on your phone, and you can go out to any retail store, yard sale, thrift shop, anything where you can find a product that has a barcode, and you scan it, and it will come up and it will tell you, what it's selling for on Amazon. It breaks down the profit margin, the ranking. Go ahead.
Yeah, it'll tell you the number of FBA sellers, the number of merchant only sellers, merchant sellers, FBA sellers, but it also links in with Camel. So you've got access to all the information there, and and you can list it from there if you want to as well.
Yeah,
so it's very, very good.
And these are pivotal tools, guys. I mean, we've talked about it before, that you need, that will help you to go out there and make this, business successful. You need it. It's a tool in your tool belt. And to have that, for example, Profit Bandit, like Chris just explained, for me, I use Scoutify, which they're the same thing, but they just help you. I can go out to a store and be like, scan something and say, okay, I'm paying $15 for this. I can sell it for 40 to 50. What's my bottom line profit margin? It helps me make a decision, and it keeps things moving, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, I just, want to encourage you that, like Chris said, I mean, if he can do it, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I started this job myself, steel worker, outside, all year, year long, working 14, 16 hours a day, 2 kids, was engaged, and just busy life. But I found a way. I made it happen. And Chris is another example of everything that he has going on, of himself making it happen. And he's only been doing it for 8 weeks. So it's possible. I got my kids started in this. Me and Chris were talking before the show. I got my kids started in this, starting them off with $50 each, and they're growing it. Every time they sell it, we put it back in, and they're growing it. And we're going to see what happens by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's the key thing as well. Don't be tempted to draw down any profits. Just reinvest initially, just up front. The first few months, I would say, just keep reinvesting in the business.
Yeah,
and it does grow exponentially after that. I mean, what you're really aiming for, I find on Amazon, is a nice steady growth, and then you'll get a leaping sales somewhere. It'll just happen. But you can have problems with Amazon if you suddenly go in and sell too cheap, sell out of all your stuff. Amazon will think, no, we don't want you upsetting all the regular sellers. So they can turn around and say, look, we're going to stop you dead in your tracks, because the people we want to look after are the ones who are selling all year round. And so that's something that I found, I've picked up, is to go broad and wide, 3 to 5 items of each thing, and just test within your niche category what sells. Don't spend all your budget on 2 or 3 lines and have 50 of them, and they're just sat there and they haven't sold. So what I was able to do was go, right, I've got currently at the moment, just to encourage you, somewhere about 124 products that I'm selling.
And that's
anywhere from that's different, ASINs, and I've only got 3 to 5 of each. But if one sells, well, if it sells too quickly, I'm selling it too cheaply, because you'll see a variety of prices there. And if you want to make more money, hold back. Don't look to sell it straight away, because sooner or later, the people who are cheap enough will run out, will sell out, and you're there, and people will pay a higher price for the item. So you will make more money with your profit. If all your stuff goes so quickly, you're selling it too cheap. Just put your price up a little bit. Be patient if you can afford to be patient. Just make your price a little bit higher. Wait for the others to sell out. Those people who go in cheap, or you get into a race to the bottom. You think, well, where's the profit in this? They keep undercutting. Let them undercut. Let them sell out, and then you're there at a decent profit margin. People will buy from you because the traffic is there. People will buy. It's just a matter of being patient sometimes and just judging it. If it hasn't sold, say, within a month or something like that, then you can drop your price. Do you see what I mean? You get the idea. So you just have to use your common sense a little bit as well. Just because you see something really cheap, don't buy 100 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just starting it when you're starting out. You know what I mean? Oh, that's a good bargain. I'll have 100 of them. But you've only got one line, and it probably sells 5 or 6 a month. Yes, you will sell them, but you want a quick return as possible.
Exactly. Money loves speed.
Yeah. So you don't want it just sat there. But,
you don't want it to sit there and like. Me and Chris, when we started off, we were talking a little bit about this too, is if you guys are just starting off, I encourage you to get out there, okay? And in the beginning, Chris, I'm sure you can testify about this, is that you're going to wonder, what am I doing? I can't find anything that's profitable. You go out and you do it after, for me, it was like a week, 2 weeks, and then a light bulb just went off. And you become familiar with the process. You become familiar with what sells, and it's momentum, right, Chris? It's like a snowball.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's like that. You see, if you've got an idea of the category you're going for as well, and you can target 1 or 2 places and get 1 or 2 clearance places. I went out within the first week, found something for £1.50, and I scanned it and looked at it, and it was selling at 50, 60 quid. So I thought, right, okay, I'll see if I can get as many of these as possible.
What's that profit margin? What's that in US?
And this works.
Do you know?
Oh, let's see, $2 selling for something like $90. It's huge difference.
Wow.
I couldn't believe. I scanned it twice. I scanned it twice, and I thought, some collectors pay ridiculous amounts of money. So don't. What I found is this: don't judge what you're scanning. Don't make a decision. People will buy anything, if it's of value to them. Don't judge it. But just get out there, know the sector, know the category you're going for, but just start scanning, and just get in the habit of scanning everything. Get away from self-conscious, being aware of people might be watching me, wondering what I'm doing. No, just pick up something and scan it. And if someone asks you, just say, I'm comparing prices.
Yeah.
And you just got to get on and do it. And the more you scan, the more you realise, oh, hang on a minute, there's a bargain here. And some days you find things which are really good, but some days you don't necessarily find, what you're looking for. But you don't have to buy everything. Know in your own mind what you're looking for. I'm choosy now. I know I'm making choices between, profit margins and just saying, I know that's there, but I can scan something else and see if I find something with a greater profit margin. Well, that's where I'll invest my budget, So, but just get out there and do it is the best advice that you could ever be given, really, in that sense, in terms of the scanning.
Yeah, you got to. And like we talked about in the beginning, about everything, these bullet points, Chris, summarize the people that are successful in here. You got to take massive action daily. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to lay your brakes. If you do it, I promise you guys will have success. But you just got to look for opportunities to do it. Like Chris said, you got to get out there and you got to scan. If you haven't done it, do it. Look for opportunities and do it. And start with, I've talked about this, and Chris just reiterated, start with a category that you're familiar with. And that's what I did. That's what Chris did. And as you become more comfortable in this process with identifying profitable items, you expand out. And, that's what I've done. That's what Chris has done. And, The other thing I wanted to hit on, and we had talked about this a little before the show, and I just wanted to tell you guys, was yesterday we were supposed to have the show same time, and I had to reschedule it. And the reason I had to reschedule it, and I'm going to share it with you guys, is because in the course I talk about communication, right? I talk about ask, ask, ask. Now, when I talk about that, that is when you go into a store, right? And you get comfortable with it. If you're buying a bunch of products, you go up and you talk, to a manager saying, listen, I got this much product. Can you take 10, 15% off? That's what I talk about in the course. But the one thing I wanted to emphasize is when you guys do this and when you become comfortable and when you have a routine, this is just, for me, this is what I do in life. I treat other people the way I want to be treated, right? I always compliment. I always encourage. I always look to speak life into other people. So regardless of where I'm at, if I'm at home with family or if I'm at a retail store, a gas station, I always try to compliment. So anyway, some of these stores that I've become close with, managers, it's because of the way I communicate. It's because of my relationship and me genuinely caring about what the people do and thanking them for their hard work and stuff like that. So I've become close to one of, places where I go buy product from. And I had the manager who runs the store call me and say, listen, I get a discount and it's only a few times a year. I know you're coming in. You're going to buy a bunch of stuff this week. Meet me tomorrow at this time, and I'll give you, my discount. And that happened because I've developed a relationship with this guy. I've genuinely, me and him, I've taken the time to talk to him, ask him how he's doing. We just conversate, and it's how you treat people. If you genuinely care about others, this stuff comes back to you, and it's not, that's why we do it, right? To get stuff back, but it's just, you reap what you sow, right, Chris? And,
Yeah. I mean, likewise, I could share something very, very similar. A couple of examples of that is that I go to a certain shop every Monday and every Thursday morning. And I've been doing that for the last 7 weeks. And the first time I went in there, I said, have you got a clearance section? They said, yeah, it's just over there. And I just shared a little bit about what I'm doing, And you got to tell people what you're doing sometimes. Let people know what you're doing, and otherwise it looks a bit suspicious. But anyway, I bought a few things, and I said, well, do you get a lot of this stuff in? And I just got chatting and talking to them, and I found out the names of the sales assistant, and then I found out the name of the manager, and I just had a chat. I said, look, do you have regular clearance? Stock and inventory and stuff. He said, oh, yeah. I said, right, I'm coming back. I will come back and buy some more, and this was from the Monday. I came on the Thursday. I bought some more, got talking with him again. And over the weeks, we're talking about a 6-week period, because I've been consistent, because I've built up a relationship, I've now got to the stage where they're sort of saying, well, I'll tell you what, I've got this, but I tell you, the store manager will now go and search his stuff search his outlet for me for any stuff that he thinks I can benefit from.
Wow.
He says, oh, I've got this stuff I need to clear. Look, does this scan up okay? Yes, he does. Right. Well, I can do it at this amount and that amount. Do you know, at first, within the first week or so, he said, well, no, because I always ask, can you give a bit more? If I buy bulk, can you give a bit more? And he said, no, I can't do that. By week 6, because he could see I was serious and consistent, he was saying to me, well, look, let me pass on my staff discount to you.
Wow.
So here was someone who was prepared to give me an extra 20, 30% off.
Yeah.
And, and that makes a big difference.
It does.
And it's just because I just was consistent. I had a plan, had a strategy, and I said, right, I'm going to make relationships, with store managers, whoever I go to. I'm going to talk to the manager. I go to another outlet shop, they give me 5-10% extra on top of any clearance.
Yeah.
because I just asked for it, and I know all the staff names. I know the people who serve me. I know the sales assistants. I know the manager's name. I've got chatting with them. So you build relationships with people, and they take you seriously. They will help you. And I have sales folk now come to me saying, "Hey, we've got this on a discount." I mean, before Christmas, I have to laugh because I got talking to one of the sales assistants, and they got to know me. And I walked in this particular day, like a week or so before Christmas, and this sales lady came up to me. She approached me, and she said, "You know, I've spent the last few days discounting all the products that we've got to shift." And she took me round the store, showing me all the best bargains. And I was able to clean up because he said, "Look, I've discounted this one down from that and this one down from that."
Yeah.
I was like a kid in a candy store. I was thinking, goodness me, there's too many opportunities here.
I know.
And it's all about building relationships.
Yep.
Now, I will say, it doesn't always work because I went to another bookstore, because I noticed I was coming back from my grandfather's funeral, and we stopped off at a motorway service station. And there was a store that had a discount on a particular book. And I just scanned it at random. I thought, do you know what? I wonder what this comes up for. Anyway, it made 3 times the profit of what it was being sold for. Wow. So I thought, well, when I get back, when I got home, the next day I went to that equivalent store in a big retail outlet, and they had a whole stack of them. And I knew because of camel, I knew how many would sell a month or whatever. And I thought, at that price and the profit margin, I'll invest and I'll take a load of those. And I went to the checkout and I asked, can I speak to the manager to see if I can get a discount? And the manager said no. He wouldn't give me anything. And I said, oh, well, that's a shame because, I'm buying a lot of these, and I'll probably come back for more as well. He said, no, you'll have to talk to head office, But because of the way the only thing I could say is this, is that because of the sales assistant behind the counter saw the way I spoke to the manager and was just polite and kind and getting to know him and chatting, and I was chatting to them before, when I said, oh, could I have extra discount because I'm buying so many? And she liked the way I handled it, basically. And even though the manager said no, I said, okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. I'll see, about talking to head office. Anyway, when I went to pay for them, the checkout girl who was there, she said, do you know what? I'll see if I can help you. And she opened a drawer and got a discount card out of her own discount. She gave me an extra 20% discount, which saved me 45 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is about $60, $70, I suppose.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if you don't ask, you don't get. And even when, people do say no, well, that's okay. They're not saying no to you. They're not saying no to you. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the fact that you've already got a discounted product and you're being a little bit cheeky asking for further discount. But if you don't ask, you don't get. And yes, I've been in sales all my life in one sense. The business model's not new to me. But what I would say to you is this: is that if you'll be personable and just ask and talk to people and get to know their names, and that store now, when they see me come through the door, I go at a certain time when the sales assistants are on who know me. And they actually work out a way of trying to get me to get the product as cheap as possible through their offers and discounts.
Yeah.
Now, it's all about relationships and building relationships with, those key people. That's what I'm saying about people. Who's going to help you? You see, you're not just doing it for yourself. If you can build relationships with store managers, it really is key. And then you're taking it one step further where they're able to say, well, look, we can get a regular supply of these. So then you start to build your inventory and your resellers, and that's how you grow your income because you know what sells and you know where to get it at a discount price. So you can keep stocking up. So one particular product, I've sold 43 of one particular product but I started by getting 6 of them.
Yeah. And
So,
it's
so just to encourage you, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it is encouraging, Chris, everything that you said. I mean, it's little steps. It's right. It's making the most of
Yeah. Yeah.
every
Yeah.
opportunity that you
Yeah.
have.
Step by step, you know,
Step by step, brick by brick, looking for opportunities when you're out there. Like Chris talked about, it's so
Yeah.
important just to develop relationships with people. And that's why I always say, ask, talk to people, communicate with them. What's the worst that can happen? You're going to leave the store with, you know, a no, right? But what if you leave with a yes? What if you leave with, here's 15, 20, 25%? That's just, it helps your business, and it will help scale you out in the future. Chris, we only got like 10 minutes left, but I'm just going to go through a couple questions here. Casey asks, Chris, can you get more into specifics of the type of products you sourced and what you did with them, how it happened, or how he happened to choose these products to target? You don't have to get into specifics of what you sell, but category-wise, if you want to, you know, touch in that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I focused on toys. I've expanded out into books because I've got a way of doing things where I don't really have to lift the books. Because I got into toys because they're light to lift. I can't lift heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I can't carry stuff. I can't lift. So I've had to manage disability with doing this as well. So where I go, I don't walk far to where I go. I can't walk far. To where I go, can't carry things. I get the staff to carry me all the stock and whatever as much as possible. But basically, toys, you know, and the thing is, you know, if you follow what Sean does, I mean, for example, you can pick up Disney stuff, right? I don't mind being specific because it's one that you can do. Disney stuff, for example, you know, they always have sales. You know, and it's stuff that always sells, and it's all a matter of going out there and finding what is selling and when. So you go and scan, and okay, you might come across Mickey Mouse, and Amazon says restricted product, so you think, oh, can't sell that. But you might come across, I don't know, another Disney character. I don't know, just pick a Disney character, scan them. And you might go, oh, I can sell this one.
Yep.
So you find out what it is, and then you just compare it, do your research. Camel is what I use a lot, you know, and you know, and that way you can make a decision, and you can sort of say, well, okay, I'll go with this, you know. I mean, Disney is always launching a new film. They'll always have figures. They're always the classic characters that are there. Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, you know, all, you name it, they're there.
Yeah.
You know, so Disney's always there. Now, I picked that up from watching Sean's Diary. I thought, oh, he's got those little soft toys. I wonder if they sell. You know, and you were saying, hey,
man.
That's right. You said, well, that you sold a lot of that. So I thought I'd have a look at it, and I thought, well, can I buy them in at a cheap enough price? Not that particular one, but are there others? So you just have to scan. So for me, I started with toys because common sense told me I'll do a lot of toys at Christmas. And they're a light product, so my shipping costs are going to be low. So you got to think. You see, you can grow your profit margin by watching your expenses as well as what you can sell something for. Mm-hmm. So now I don't buy boxes anymore. I source all my own boxes from supermarkets and the shops I go and buy stuff from, and I ask them if they've got any that they're recycling or throwing out. Can I have them? And they say, yeah, you can take them. You know, I've actually got more boxes than I need. But what I'm saying is, it's that if you can use, it's different ways of growing a profit margin, and one of them is minimize expense.
Yep.
And that grows your profit margin. So if you can get something for free, then do it. I mean, I don't use bubble wrap. You know, I use cling film if I have to cover something, because I can get a roll for cents from a supermarket, a budget one, then pay Amazon or anywhere else a lot of money for bubble wrap.
Yeah.
So it's just looking. See, if you have a plan and a strategy, you can look at where can you shave margins that will save you, you know, time and money. and that grows your profit margin as well. So hopefully that's some specifics there, because I don't want to be so vague. You don't learn anything, but if you think about the things that always sell all year round, it's probably Disney toys sell a lot,
Yeah.
and if there are always offers on, and join Disney online, because then you can use the cashback sites and buy your Disney products. Again, that helps your margins. Disney restricts the amount of product you can buy, but if you get it at the right price, it's worth doing.
And then too, you can, if you want, apply for a Disney Chase card. And
you've got you just become a club member and all this sort of stuff.
And you get 10% off every purchase that you make. And that's Disney's one of the things I started with in the beginning. So you pass that along, but there are products that they do sell that are restricted, so you just got to make sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's where your attitude is important, not to give up.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't give up at the first sort of, that's restricted, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
Then you'll miss out on one that does work.
Exactly. You got to keep going. You keep going because there's treasures everywhere, guys. Treasures everywhere. Where Chris has told you he found something for $2, it was selling for $90. I found things like that too that has blown my mind. And when you look at something and you see the profit margin that high, you would never guess it would sell. That's why you scan everything. You go out there and scan, and everything. You become used to it, and it's a habit. You develop it. You become stronger at it. Chris, we only have a couple more minutes, but let me see what we got here. Brian asks, is this food store items like Target or Walmart type products or only dollar store stuff? This is everywhere, Brian. Brian, you can go everywhere. Yeah. All retail, brick and mortar businesses go out, thrift shops, yard sales, anything that's selling anything, you can find opportunities out there. He also asks, Chris, do you buy all the stock of a particular product or only a few? Depends on your money. Yes, it depends on your money. Both me and Chris suggest, starting off small to see if it sells.
Yeah, exactly. Go broad and shallow to start with. Don't buy more than, say, 5 of one thing.
Yeah.
Because 5 will sell out in a month, great. But if you went for, say, like 20 to 30, it's going to take you months to sell that, and you want to get a return so you can reinvest it. So don't buy a lot of stuff in terms of the same thing, because you just have it sat there.
Yep. Brian also has a question about shipping. He says, how does the shipping part work? Do you ship it all to Amazon FBA and take a hit on your profits? Brian, for me, right now I ship everything FBA. I ship through UPS, who has a special contract in the U.S. with Amazon.
Yeah,
same over
with UK. Yeah. Okay. Special contract. I now send 10 boxes and maximize weight because you get a heavily discounted price.
Oh, yeah.
And really, you can't send it any cheaper, Yeah,
you can't. So you're saving money by doing it that way. You're
saving money. Yeah.
How do you get around trademark infringement, Howard asks. I guess he's talking about selling branded items, maybe?
Well, I mean, if someone else is selling it on Amazon, I just sell it. And if Amazon don't want me to sell it, they'll tell me.
Yeah, they'll tell you. I mean, you can sell branded items as long as as Amazon says you can. So don't worry about that.
That's it. Yeah.
Jason says, I'm new. When you say scan, what are you using to scan? Jason, there are different types of scanning apps that you can download on your phone. Chris talked about profit margin. Yeah. He lives in the UK. He can use that there. I use Scoutify.
Yeah, profit margin. Yeah.
Yep. But there's oh, what did I say? Did I say something else?
Yeah, you said profit margin. Yeah, it's
profit margin. Yeah. Okay, Profit band. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the profit margin, right?
Yeah.
So Profit Bandit, I use Scoutify, and then also when you sign up with Amazon, you can download the Amazon Seller app, which I always recommend you use as a backup, because that app will tell you if the product that you are scanning is restricted. So
it's restricted, that's important.
Yeah, and the last question is, Chris, statement. Dolores says, sounds really good and something I could really do. Well, Dolores, I hope I got your name right, but I just wanted to encourage you to tell you without a doubt you can do this.
Yeah.
If I can do this, Chris can
Yeah.
do. So many people in our group are doing it, and it's just the beginning of the new year. FBA has been unleashed, and it's the beginning of many exciting things to come. So, with that being said, Chris, would you like to say anything to the people? I appreciate you coming on and just sharing your story. I'll let you say anything. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, just to encourage you. It doesn't matter where you start in the year. It doesn't matter. Make a start. Have a plan. If you haven't written it down, write it down. And it'll just give you some direction to start with. You're thinking, where do I start? How do I go? Follow what Sean is teaching. Because he's doing it, and you won't get any better than watching someone who's actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put the work in, be consistent, and as I say, just to encourage you, right? Keep taking consistent, imperfect action. You will make mistakes. Accept it. You're not losing or failing. You're learning, and you learn from those mistakes. So as I say, just keep going. Take massive, imperfect action. It doesn't have to be perfect,
Yes.
but you'll find the results will follow.
Exactly.
They really will. Yeah.
Chris,
so I hope that encourages folk.
It does, and it does. It encourages me. Very well said. And I just wanted to thank you for coming on again. I wanted to encourage all of our listeners. Just everything that Chris said, that I've said. I hope that we're able to plant seeds of hope, because, we do care about you guys, and we believe in you guys. And I just want to encourage you guys with the new year coming up, right? The new year coming up, to just take action, decide what you want to do and do it. Don't let any obstacles stand in your way. Make up your mind and do it. Identify your why and stay focused on it. Day in and day out, you lay your bricks. You've heard me talk about this. How do you build a brick wall? One brick at a time. Each day is a brick. You lay your brick. Because let me ask you guys this. Would you rather do that? Would you rather put out the effort, the obstacles? I mean, it's going to be work. But in a year from now, which will come regardless of what you do you want to be in a place where you're at right now? Because I've had years like that, where I've had dreams, I've had desires, and I haven't done anything with it. Or I've had years recently, now, when I have this mindset that I've learned, that I choose to do as much as I can every day. Like Chris said, you're not going to be perfect. You won't be perfect, but you just keep moving. You keep taking steps forward, and you lay your brick. And this time next year, you can have the wall. You can have, those dreams and desires. Whatever you want is possible if you believe and you give hard work and you help other people along the way. So with that being said, I just wanted to encourage you guys to keep moving. Have a great new year, and we will talk to you guys 2017, right?
Take care.
All right, Chris. All right, you guys have a good new year. We will talk to you later. Chris, I will talk to you later. Thanks again, buddy.
All right, no problem.
All right,
take care,
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right.